Hello students! Today we are going to do a 3D optical illusion using alphabets. In this lesson you are going to learn how to do value shading to show lightness and darkness. You can choose to do the easier version, or you can choose to do the harder version that has the blue lines. First you need to get yourself a piece of drawing paper, a ruler, eraser, some tissue paper for blending, and then the most important thing is you need to gather your pencils that has varying darkness. So that's 2B, 4B, HB, and so on. So the higher the number of the B on the pencil, the darker it will be. So let's plan out how we want to draw our alphabet on the paper. Let's draw our alphabet in 2D form, meaning with thickness. These are alphabets with sharp angles. And then this is an alphabet with curved border, which will be harder. Other examples that has curves in their alphabet is D, P, and G. The angular alphabets are easier to create because there are no curves involved. So what you want to do is plan your alphabet and confine it within a box. So for example, I'm showing you how to draw Z, T, and N. So on my paper, I'm going to draw a box first, and here I'm drawing a T inside the box. You can draw your own alphabet. A tip is to use your finger to measure the thickness of the letter, just so that the spacing is more balanced. Once you're done sketching out using a very light pencil, maybe like a HB, then you can outline it using a fine liner pen. Make sure to check that your line is straight. You can actually check this by looking at the gap between the ruler and the paper. As long as it's even, that means your line is straight. Once you're done outlining, just erase the pencil lines. Here I'm making another example using the letter Z. So again, I'm drawing a big box to confine my letter. Once done, I'll just outline it. Alright, once you have your 2D shape, then we can turn it slightly slanted. Then we're going to identify the corner. So imagine you are digging a hole inside this letter T. What I'm going to do is draw a vertical line from the corners here to create the inner surface. And for these corners, we won't be able to see them. So I'm only doing these two corners. Just make sure that these lines are pointing towards your angle. Now I'm demonstrating how to do it on the letter Z. So this one I'm slanting it a different way. And I'm going to draw the vertical lines from this corner, this corner, this corner, and this corner. So for this corner, I can't see it, so I'm not going to draw. Just make sure that these lines are pointing towards your angle. Now we need to add value shading to make the illusion seem real, to add in the illusion of depth. I'm going to show you how I shade using pencils. First, you want to hold your pencil almost horizontally to the paper. This is so that you can make use of the broad surface area on the pencil lead. After that, I'm going to use a tissue paper to sort of blend it out. And if you want to go darker, you can use a darker pencil like maybe 6B or 8B. And then just do more blending. So that's the basic technique that we are going to use in our illusion. So where do we need to shade? So since this is a hole, this area here will be closest to us and to the surface. So it should be the lightest. And this area behind at the bottom here should be the darkest. So for the letter Z, this area will be the closest to us, so it should be lighter. Same goes to this area. And for the darkest area, it will be this part and that part. I'll start by shading the darkest part. Notice how I'm darkening along this line. This is because it's the corner of these two sides, so I'll just make it slightly darker than the rest of the surface. Remember to hold your pencil almost horizontally. Then I'll just make it darker using a 6B pencil to just make it darker. The darker it is, the more you're going to push it behind and make the hole appear as if it's very deep. Also notice how I left the top part slightly lighter because that part is closer to the surface. Again, take note to leave the area that's closest to the surface quite lighter than the rest of the parts. Then just use an eraser to clean up the edges and your illusion would be complete. Now I'm showing you how to do the Z. So basically the same thing. I am just darkening the darkest part first. Remember to boost your darkness using a darker pencil. After that, I will just work on the lighter parts. I'm also using the eraser to rub out some highlight to make this area a lot more lighter and make it more contrast. For this version, it's much harder. I'm going to use a blue pencil to draw out like a notebook kind of pattern lines on the background. I fill up the whole paper with these lines, but I'm not drawing the lines inside the letter itself. After that, I'm going to follow the blue line and make it extend inwards into the hole. So I'm going to tilt my paper again like how I did just now. Now, with your eye level looking at the illusion, you want to draw the blue lines heading towards you, almost as if they are all pointing at this invisible point right in the middle of your chest. So I'm going to show you how the lines look like by moving my ruler. You can see how my ruler is sort of like going in a V shape. So actually all these blue lines, they are not going to be parallel. They are actually going to be converging into this point, sort of like in the middle of your chest. Once you understand that concept, you just find the blue line and just extend it downwards. Just make sure the ruler is pointing at you. Once you're done extending all the blue lines, your optical illusion would be complete. Hope you have fun learning about creating your own optical 3D illusion. You can also make more illusion using different kind of shapes and value shading.